So today, we're diving into something really interesting. Two ancient and kind of competing blueprints for finding personal freedom. We're talking about the Stoic fortress versus the Epicurean garden. Let's figure out which of these powerful ideas might be the right one for you. You ever stop and think about the strange paradox we're all living in? I mean, we have more choices than any generation in history. What to watch, where to work, who to be. And yet so many of us feel, well, less in control. We feel chained to our phones, to notifications, to this constant low-grade anxiety. It's like we've got all the options in the world, but our actual sense of freedom is shrinking. So, what do? How do we get that feeling of control back? Well, the answer might not be some new app or productivity hack. Instead, we can look to two powerful survival strategies from the ancient world. We're going to explore Stoicism and Epicureanism, and not as some dusty academic theories, but as real, practical blueprints for reclaiming your life. Okay, first up, let's look at the Stoic blueprint. The best way to think about this one is like building an unshakable fortress, but inside your own mind. The whole goal here is something called internal sovereignty. So what on earth is internal sovereignty? Well, it's this really radical idea that you are only truly free when your peace of mind is completely independent of what's happening outside of you. So your boss's mood, the stock market, even your own health, none of it can touch your inner calm. For the Stoics, freedom is 100% an inside job. This quote from Epictetus just nails the whole concept. And you have to remember, this was a guy who was literally born a slave. He figured out that it's not the events themselves that have power over us, it's our judgments about those events. No one can make you angry or afraid. That emotional response, that power is always, always yours. And here's where it gets super practical. The core tool for Stoicism is this idea called the dichotomy of control. You basically draw a line in the sand. On one side, you have the things that are completely up to you, your thoughts, your reactions, your choices. On the other side, everything else, your reputation, other people's actions, your health, all of it. The whole practice is to pour all your energy into your side of the line and learn to accept what's on the other side. That's how you build that fortress, making it immune to the chaos outside. Okay, so if the Stoic builds a fortress to withstand the world, what's the alternative? Well, that brings us to the Epicurean blueprint, which is all about creating a tranquil, hidden garden. This is a totally different approach, freedom through strategic withdrawal. For the Epicureans, the ultimate goal isn't about feeling powerful, it's about feeling peaceful. The word they used for it is ataraxia, which basically means a state of serene tranquility. Freedom, from this point of view, is defined by what's missing: the absence of fear, the absence of pain, and the absence of mental clutter. So how do you get to this peaceful state? Well, it's not through rigid discipline. It's actually more like a smart decluttering of your desires. Epicureans sorted everything into 3 buckets. First, the stuff you should absolutely pursue, things that are natural and necessary, like good food, shelter, and especially friendship. Second, stuff to be cautious with, natural but unnecessary things, like luxuries. And third, the stuff you should avoid completely, vain and empty desires like fame, power, or crazy wealth. They believed most of our anxiety comes from chasing that third category. This all leads to their famous motto, live hidden. Instead of trying to win the stressful rat race, the Epicurean just doesn't run. They strategically withdraw. They find their freedom by simplifying their life, keeping a small circle of amazing friends, and just stepping away from all the noise. All right, so now we've got these two very different paths to freedom. You've got the internal fortress of the Stoic and the secluded garden of the Epicurean. Let's put these two blueprints right next to each other and see how they really stack up. You can see the core differences so clearly here. Just look at how they handle adversity. The Stoic sees a tough time as a workout for the soul, a chance to get stronger. But the Epicurean is over here thinking, why even go to the gym in the first place? They try to design a life that avoids that kind of hardship. And that one difference changes everything. One is all about engaging with society out of duty, while the other strategically steps back to protect their peace. Here's another way to picture it, and I really love this analogy. The Stoic's resilience is like a diamond. It's this internal structure that can just endure incredible pressure without cracking. The Epicurean, on the other hand, is more like a bird. Agile, smart, and quick enough to just avoid the cage entirely. So the diamond endures the pressure, the bird bypasses it. And of course, this leads us to the trade-offs, because every strategy has them, right? The huge advantage of Stoicism is its durability. It works anywhere, under any conditions. The risk?
you might become a bit too austere, maybe even a little joyless. Epicureanism, on the other hand, offers immediate peace and tranquility, but the risk there is that you might become a bit fragile, maybe unprepared for a crisis that you just can't dodge.
So, which one is better, the fortress or the garden? Well, what if the answer isn't to choose one? What if, for modern life, the best strategy is actually to build a hybrid of both? The truth is, if you go all in on one, you might run into problems. Pure Stoicism can sometimes feel emotionally cold, right? And pure Epicureanism can feel a little passive. The most durable, balanced way to live in the world today probably involves combining the best of both of these ancient blueprints.
So here's how that powerful hybrid could work in practice. For your day-to-day lifestyle, you make Epicurean choices. You simplify your needs, you protect your peace, you cultivate that garden of good friends and simple pleasures. But for your mindset, you use Stoic responses. When those unavoidable crises do hit, you call on that mental discipline to handle what you must and accept what you can't change. This quote just perfectly sums up that hybrid approach. Want little? That's the Epicurean part, cutting down on anxiety. Endure much? That's your Stoic resilience, ready for when trouble finds you. And that last part, depending on nothing external for your identity, that's what ties it all together. It's the synthesis of the garden and the fortress. In the end, this isn't about picking a team and sticking with it for life. It's about being strategic based on where you are right now. So I'll leave you with a question to think about. In this particular season of your life, what does your personal blueprint need more of? Is it time to build a stronger fortress to get through a storm? Or do you need to cultivate a quieter garden to find some peace and remember how to live?